Okay, so like I said before, I did have a lot of kits to choose from. Which one to do? Let's do this one. Dora's Loft. That looks good to start the 2025 year out. Let's go. All right, first things first. This is always the funnest part, is opening it, right? And look at this, it's got a little saying on there. Those days that looking up at the stars, what does it say? Those days that looking at the stars and dreaming on the rooftop can never be copied. It's too precious to have the beautiful dream again. Not sure what that means. So, we take the outer layer off. They're always pretty boxes. Do you guys save the boxes? I think they're pretty. So, we got the usual suspects here. We got the instruction book. Pretty big, but not too bad. All the usual things that we've seen before. What's nice about these, they actually comes with tools. That's nice. And glue. This one's got glue. Yay! It's the clear glue. That's fine. We've worked with this before. And paint. There's a couple paints in there. And then we got all the bags that I like to put in order. As far as the big wooden pieces, this one is pretty small, so not bad. So all the wood and paper pieces are in this one little packet, and then all the paper, books, pictures, different things like that. There's a piece of cardboard, and then all the other things. We'll figure it out as we go. Now, if you've never done any of these kits ever before, the first page is always the very most important, I would say. It shows you how to use the glue. Like this one, don't use too much glue, which you're going to see a little later on that I did not take that hint. It's going to show you how to cut the cloth, how to put the batteries and the lights together, things like that. This page is always very, very, very important. And it'll also tell you that everything is in millimeters. All these kits that I've ever done are always in centimeters and millimeters, so just keep that in mind. And all the tools that you're going to need. So let's get ours together. Here's the tools that they included: the tweezers, the paintbrush, and this little screwdriver. So that's all you get. Now what you need to hunt around for is a ruler, pair of scissors, a good pair, a knife of some sort. I like my X-Acto. Pair of pliers, and something to clamp with. I like my little clothespins. I have a couple different sizes, or you can use those little book clips, however you want. And you're going to need needle and thread. So we got all our stuff together. Also at the bottom, you're going to see some good tips, because there's a lot of prep work before you put things together sometimes. So these sheets of paper will tell you, because I did notice on this kit, I'm from the future here, they are not labeled very well. So you are going to use these charts a lot. So don't lose these pieces of paper. And also, there's I didn't show it there, but at the top of each of these pages, it'll tell you, paint this, put a line on this, that kind of thing. So, also another thing is, a lot of people ask, where's bag number 1? Bag number 1 is usually in quotes, the shrunk wrap bag of the flat sheets of wood and paper. And usually you pull that all apart and you don't have the outer paper anymore, so you forget that that's bag number 1, so you take the label off. what I try to do is I put all these pieces together and I just put them in a big baggie. Once I get them all in the big baggie, I save the little tag and I slide it right in there. That way you know when it's asked for bag number 1, here we go. We got bag number 1. All right, let's get started. So the very first thing on the very first page, besides the instructions, is a bookshelf. I'm going to tell you, full disclosure, this bookshelf for some reason really threw me off. Up, down, left, right. And I guess when you're first starting a new kit, every single time, the very first project, you're kind of calibrating your brain to how they want you to make it. So first thing they want you to do is put these lines on the little shelf things. So I did as they said. I kind of just lined it up with the picture, tried to get it as straight as I can. And doing this right now, I did not know what this was for just yet, so I just did as I was told and kind of set them up. Also, you're going to need these 2 little yellow pieces. They'll come into play later too. So just cut them out and set them out. I like to get all my parts for that one project. Don't put all the parts out for everything. You're going to get lost. So I'm just going to make the bookshelf. I just want the parts for the bookshelf. And this is going to ask for a foil piece in bag number 1. And that bag number 1, remember, was the flat things that we put in a baggie. So I'm just going to cut it out to size. It tells you in millimeters how big to cut it out. Again, I'm just setting it out and I have no idea what it's going to be used for just yet. All right. So we got all our parts and pieces that it asked for, and there's 3 little shelves, so I kind of divided it up. So that's 1, there's 2, and then here's the 3rd. They're boxes, I guess. So let's build the first box. Now this is where I am going to say, do not cut your glue hole too big, because you're going to gloop glop it all over the place. Also, see, this is where my brain is like, what? You notice that that little piece is not matching to that piece. It's because I got it on the wrong side. So I'm staring at the instructions going, what the heck? And just turn it over. Come on, Dana. Turn it. Turn it. There you go. See, sometimes there's some puzzle solving involved here. Just take your time. And this is not a problem. You notice I put the glue there. That's okay. We'll just wipe it off and put it on the right side. I'll say when you start a kit, you are going to be so lost when you first start. Once you keep going and you figure out, because it's like learning another language, right? So you got to figure out how they are trying to communicate to you how they want it done. So the very first thing, you're going to be like, what? And you're miming to each other. You're trying to, what? But see, I still did it again. I put that piece on backwards. But you learn from it. You figure it out. So you just got to keep going. Figure it out. See how they, their instructions, what they mean. This one does not tell you, you know, this one goes on the outside or the inside. You really have to look at the pictures. Now, by the time that glue, we do solve this problem after a while. That glue was driving me insane. It was just too gloopy. Somebody suggested, and I should have totally took them up on it, is just put a pinhole in the top. Just jab a strong needle through the top. Cut it just enough so that you have a little bit of room to jab a needle into it, and that's all you need. It's just a little thin line of glue. because this clip, especially this clear glue, a little goes a long way. And like they said, the thinner you do it, the faster it dries, which can work not in your favor because it'll dry too quick before you can line it up. So there's a fine balance there. All right, when I got to this part, I wasn't sure which way the aluminum, the shiny part, should face. And the only clue I can get is this little picture way in the back. It looks like the shiny is facing inward. So, okay. Because this is tape, so don't take the backing off. If you want the shiny side in, it's just not going to work the way you want it to. So I'm just going to glue it as is, shiny side in. This one, we're going to build another box. And I'm getting smart. See? You learn as you go. It's teaching you how to make these things. So as you go, things are going to start getting easier and easier. You're like, oh, you want that. So I'm going to line them up and just glue them together. One more box. This has got a little bit of an extra piece. And I stared at that picture a lot and make sure that your little blob with the circle there is facing the right direction. And again, I'm lining up the pieces to make sure they all fit together properly. It does kind of tell you, but once you're in there, yeah. See how it's just a smidge taller? So it can only go that way. I do use the table a lot to straighten things out. Just kind of, and the grids on my cutting board there too, to try to make it as straight as possible. Now, once we got our little box thingy, now we got to stick the yellow pieces of paper on. Now, you're going to notice that the circle piece has one end that's a little bit longer, and that's because of the overlap of the other piece. So it'll fit right on there. And what I did on this piece is I let that dry and then I trimmed it down a little bit just so that it's a little bit more flush. All right, now we're gonna put the shelf together. This, I don't know why this shelf was, my brain was not in it. But I was trying to figure out up, down, did I put the lines on the wrong side? Because the lines that you put on there are not to place the boxes on the bottom. So the boxes go on the bottom of the shelves, if this makes sense. And you got to put it in about 3 millimeters in. And it does tell you. So I just marked off the 3 millimeters and then put on the corresponding boxes. And this is what I mean. For some reason, this, my brain, it did not work. So I put this, and you're going to say, it's upside down. Yeah, I know. So I put that there, and then I realized, wait a minute, that's not like the picture. So I did, well, it goes to show, you know, everybody's human. We're going to mess up, but it's okay. If we catch it in time, we can pull it right off. If not, you can still pry it off with your knife. It's not a big deal. And if the glue is on top like mine is, that's not a big deal either, because this shelf is going to be jam-packed full of stuff on top of it. So it'll cover it all up. And there we go. We did it on the right side. Yay! There we go. And like I said, once you get that first one under your belt, you'll get it. For all the rest, yeah. It's a little messy, but that's okay. Yeah, I mean, if it was really bad, we could also sand it. So, I'm going to do it to the proper side. Make sure the back is facing the back. I will say, on some of these, you will want to flip to the last pages where it's all set up and see how it's set in the room to see what shows and what doesn't show, and then go back to building it. Then it all makes sense. Got all 4 pieces, and now this is a wonky little shelf. I think that's why it threw me off. You get used to those nice straight little bookshelves and things like this. This one's a little more abstract. It's cool looking. It's just not something that I would build normally in real life. So we're gonna stare at the picture for a little while, and remember those lines that we put in at the very beginning? Those come into play. Now at first I lined it up to the inside of the line, and you're gonna see it's a little off. Yeah, looking at this, you're going, wait a minute, no, that's not right. Okay, let's change that. It's there. It should be going towards the end, because then all the pieces on that right side will all line up straight. Mistakes happen. Everything's fixable. And I have it upside down. It'll flip the other way in the project, but I'm lining it up, making it nice and straight so that it'll dry straight. And there we go. That makes much more sense, and we'll just set that aside to dry. Okay, remember, this glue is driving me crazy, so we gotta fix this. I found a nozzle from one of my old glue bottles. It's skinnier, and it's all globbed up. That's okay. We'll just take that glob off. And we're going to just stick it on there and make our lives so much easier. There we go. And I just made a lid out of tape for it. But my goodness, I'm glad I did that. There we go. There's our shelf. Now we're going to set you over there. Make sure if it's still a little wobbly, I'm going to make sure it dries straight. Because that glue does dry pretty hard, so when you set it aside, make sure it's at least where you want it to be. Okay, since we're doing the bookshelf, I thought, we might as well do the books now. It's later on in the book, but it made sense for the bookshelf. Let's make some books. And we've done these in different forms before. So the first set of books are basically little boxes. So they're faux books, stacks of books. And we're just going to cut it out. Once I get them all cut out, then I'm going to pre-fold everything. So everything on the crease here. There's no pre-creases in this project. One thing I do notice that this particular kit, everything is pretty much made from scratch. There is no items in there that I saw that were just take this couch and place it there. No, you're building the whole couch. You know, you're building so we got a lot of plants and things like that. So the books are no different. We're going to build all these books. First, we're going to pre-fold everything, and then you're just going to glue the tabs together. And this is where I'm really glad I put that new nozzle on there. Now I can put itty-bitty amounts of glue. Especially the tinier the things get, the less amount of glue and the more precise you want to get. So, highly recommend. Put a tiny hole. Tiny hole. And there you go. Your first stack of books. Very cute. And you're going to make about 5 of those. Nope, 6 of those. I can count. We're going to have all the forms of making books in this particular kit. And this is the second one. We've done these, I don't know if you remember, way back when we made the bookstore. And we folded thousands and thousands of little books in the accordion style. Well, this one's it. So this one, when it says 2 numbers, so it goes to like K9 to N3, that means the book cover K9 matches up with the insides of N3. So I lined them all up. And they kind of make sense because of the size of the book covers that go with the insides. I mean, I don't think it really matters if you mixed them up because you're never going to see the inside when in the end project. But I like to keep it uniform. And you're going to make sure you fold the first one up because that's where the book cover goes to. So the first one's up and then you're going to zigzag fold right with the little dotted lines. You're just going to get the little accordion there. Ta-da! Now you're going to flip it over on the back side. If you did it backwards, it really doesn't matter. Like I said, you're not going to see the insides of these books, but these books are pretty cool because they actually do have writing. And if you zoom way in, I don't think I did at this one, but you can actually read it. I don't know who's going to do it, but you could. So there we go. There's the first book, and you're just going to make all the rest exactly the same way. The cardboard ones are probably just slightly different because they're thicker. So what I found, if it's difficult to fold. My nails are really gnarly. I've tried to let them breathe for a while without nail polish, but that's the life of a crafter. You're just going to get your nails destroyed. But I did find that maybe using the ruler to help crease helps a little bit. But otherwise, it's exactly the same. There we go. We got them all done and all lined up with the corresponding book covers. So all you're gonna do is just glue the cover to the book, just like that. And this is where my little itty bitty clothespins come in play. I just get a big old bag of those from the dollar store, and they break, they get glued together, so you don't care, you don't cry about it too much because you got 100 more. I got piles of them. Once they're all nice and dry, you get the fun part of just taking them apart, and you can kind of play with them a little bit because they're kind of satisfying. Alright, this is our third way of making books, and we've done this version before. I did it on the corner bookstore. I think that we used stickers though, instead of gluing the paper on. Same idea though. So a few of these, you're gonna get all your little wood pieces out, and the matching sizes, you're gonna sandwich them together so they're a thicker book basically. And you're gonna have 5 books all together when you're all done gluing the wood. Once you get the wood all situated, so I pre-creased the thicker ones. You don't have to, because you could just glue them onto the wood piece and then kind of, with your thumbnail or something, kind of crease it onto the wood. Either way, you do you. And you just glue the covers on. Pretty easy. You're gonna get 5 cute little books. Ta-da! Alright, now we're gonna put them on the shelf. So looking at this diagram, I found all the corresponding books to the corresponding shelves and just lined them up. It's just easier for me. Now you're gonna notice that they're nice and neatly stacked on the shelf. So what we're gonna need to do is some of these that are a little bit poofy, we're gonna glue them. So I just glued them together 2 by 2 because that's as big as my little clamp will go. And then I glued the pages together too so that they kind of lay flat. Once I got all my pieces glued together how I wanted to, I'm just going to let these dry first. Making these as flat and where they belong before we put it on the shelf is going to make our lives a little bit easier. So we'll just wait for that to dry. Alright, now we're just set to put them on the shelf. And honestly, you can set this shelf any way that you want. It's your project. You can do however you want. I like to do how the book says, half because I want to show you how to do it the way they wanted to do it, and the other half is it does look good the way they have it. So let's do it. And there you go. We opened the new kit and we started our first project. Not too shabby. We'll end it there for now. There's tons to do, and there's a ton more parts and pieces that go on the shelf, but that's okay. We'll save that for another time. Sometimes it's good to do it in little chunks like this because, you're kind of figuring out the kit itself. Every kit is always different. The glue they either provide or don't provide is different to work with, so you're figuring that out. So getting that first project under your belt gives you, it's the confidence builder, right? So we did it. We built so far the hardest thing, right? Well, we haven't attempted anything else yet. So I think on the next ones, there's a lot of plants, so I'll probably do a whole thing on just the plants. And there's some furniture in here, so I'll probably do a whole thing on just furniture. And then all the little knickknacks and cute things, we'll throw those in here and there. So how does that sound? And then, of course, the grand finale where we put it all together. And so that you don't miss all those, because we got a lot to do, make sure you hit that subscribe button if you haven't already. And the ones that have subscribed, hi! Thanks so much. And of course, hit the like button so that you don't miss the next one, because it'll put it into your recommended. And leave a comment. Why not? Say hi. Hi. And I'll see you in the next video. Bye.